If you could just let me know in the chat if you have questions, and I'll call upon you. We'll go ahead and get started today with Jeff Ferrata.
Good morning, Justin. Can you give us an update on the status of the three offensive linemen who were out the past 2 weeks with the COVID tracing?
Well, we're hoping they're cleared by this weekend. They're, we'll see. I'm not in charge of that, but we're looking forward to getting everybody back, whether it's contact tracing or injuries. So there's nothing new to report yet.
And on the topic of injuries, Christopher Brown was able to play part of the game the other day. Is it going to be sort of that situation going forward, do you think, or do you expect him to become fully healthy at some point soon and be able to go back to sort of a more normal participation?
We're hoping for that, but again, that's based on, the discussions and his health between him and the trainers, and they'll let us know what's appropriate. So we're hopeful that he can get going to where he's able to play more. But again, there's no update yet on that. I think things are probably trending in the right directions, but it's a day-to-day discussion.
And if I could ask, what did you think when you watched the film of Damian Moore's performance, and just what did you see from him? And are you surprised, or is this kind of what you expected he might be able to bring you guys?
Well, you're never quite sure how the freshman will transition. He's done a really good job. I thought each rep he gets, every time he touches the ball, he seems to get a little bit better. Real natural runner, patient, sees things well, gets positive yards. So thought he did a really good job in there, and I think he'll continue to do a good job and get even better the more he plays.
So it sounds like you have confidence to go ahead and continue to give him a significant role.
Yeah, I think he's earned the right to get some reps, and so we'll continue to build on that. We also think there's some other guys in that room that can help us do some different things, so we'd like to use all of them as best we can.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll move on to Trace Travers from Rivals.
Yeah, I wanted to just clarify a couple other guys who were out. Colin Moore, Braxton Croto, Stanley McKenzie, Ethan Saunders, Tommy Christakos. Sorry, you're kind of hoping that those guys will get back by this weekend, or is it still up in the air?
The only one that I know will not would be Ethan. Ethan won't be able to play for the rest of the year. Everybody else, we will know day to day, being kind of, they're all, maybe for different reasons, but day to day, and looking forward to getting back as soon as possible.
Yeah, and on Friday, you talked about Evan Tattersall needing to work through some things. I don't know if that was your exact wording. What are you expecting from him going forward?
Well, he's been working through some injury things, and I thought, we'll see where he is this week. We were at practice yesterday. He was able to do a little more, so we'll see kind of what he can do moving forward. But I also, think that Mo earned some reps with his play in practice, special teams, and in the games. So we'll continue to work with him as well.
Yeah, and to shift gears a little bit, your special teams units have kind of been hit by some of these injuries and contact tracing, so on and so forth. How do you kind of recover in that regard as far as getting guys up to speed a little quicker?
Well, we got to coach better and help them, give them the tools so they can go out and be successful in the games. So it starts with me and us as coaches, and providing tools, and then the players applying those techniques to the game so we can play better.
Thank you.
Okay, Rusty Simmons from the Chronicle.
Coach, I was going to ask a couple of Oregon-specific questions. Not always easy to replace a guy like Justin Herbert. What have you seen out of Tyler? What he's doing at the quarterback spot?
I think he's doing a good job. He's a talented guy. We knew about him well throughout the recruiting process. And Tyler's big and physical. He can throw the ball. He makes plays with his feet. So I think he's doing a good job.
And Oregon, their lines on both sides, offense and defense, what stands out about what they do up front?
Oh, I think they're big. I mean, you just look at the size of the guys, and then especially defensively, I think they got some explosive guys there. The nose guard, the defensive ends, really talented bunch, and so it'll be another great challenge for our guys, and I know they'll be excited for it.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to Shaylin Singh from the Daily Cow.
Morning, Coach. Your offense has showed a lot of potential over the past couple of games. What is your kind of midseason evaluation of what they've done well, and what are some things you're still trying to get right?
I think they've improved a great deal in the first 3 weeks of the season. There's been flashes of run game and pass game alike, and then it's just about consistency. I think that's what we're all working towards, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams, and eliminating some of those critical mistakes that are putting us in a position that's hard to overcome. So I think they've done a good job, and will continue to get better. So really proud of how they've worked at it through practice and competed in the games. We just got to clean up some of these details so we can kind of, like I said, get rid of some of those critical mistakes that are costing us those chances to win.
Thank you.
Okay, David Bush with Bear Insider.
Morning, Coach. How did you think, upon evaluation, that the young offensive linemen did, and basically their second game together? Could you see a lot of improvement in that area?
Yeah, I think they're continuing to improve across the board. It's generally, how it should go is, the more you play, the more reps and experience you get, the better you're going to be. So I think they've shown that, and we're going to continue to push them and work with those guys. But I thought they played better than the week before, and we would expect them to continue to do that as long as they work like they've been working in practice and competing with the same energy in the games.
And was there any one particular area that they really need to, that really are improved in, and an area that they really need to get better in?
I think as a whole, the O-line really cut down on the mental errors. There was just a couple mental errors throughout the game, and now it's about cleaning up technique and continue to work at their craft. So that was good to see. But I think their competitiveness, how hard they're playing, really gives them and us a great chance. So we're going to continue to ask that of them, and then we'll continue to coach them up on the things they need to get better at, and they'll continue to improve.
How did you feel they did in protection? Was that better?
I think there was some moments where we protected well and some that we didn't. We got sacked a few times. It wasn't always on the offensive line. There was another missed protection by a guy that wasn't an offensive lineman. There was another chance for us to, pick one up. So it was a combination of things. Obviously, we want to get rid of the sacks, which put us in, longer down in distances.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, Janie McCauley from Associated Press.
Hi, Justin. Good morning. Thanks for doing this. After the game Friday, you mentioned Christopher Brown Jr. was still somewhat limited in how many touches he could get, or you were being a little bit cautionary with him. Is he improving enough physically that you may see him on the field for more reps this weekend? And just Oregon's run defense has been susceptible in recent weeks, and how much of an advantage do you need to take against that run defense?
That'll be day to day. I think Chris is continuing to improve, but that'll be determined throughout this week of practice. So he's a real competitive guy. He's a tough guy. He's had to work through some things on the injury front, but we would love to get him up to speed as fast as possible, but that'll be determined throughout this week.
And Justin, their run defense, what have you seen from Oregon, and just how much do you need to capitalize on that part of the game?
Well, we would really like to be a balanced offense, and in order to be balanced, you do have to run the football. I think Oregon's extremely talented. I think they're improving like a lot of people. And, you know, I know what kind of players they have. I know they're going to be well coached. So statistically, you know, things happen from time to time that might show itself statistically, but when you watch the video and you see the athleticism and the you know, the talent that they're playing with, we know what they're capable of. So it's going to be a great challenge for us. You know, we obviously do want to run the football. We got to be efficient in running it, whether it's, you know, first down or third down or out in the field or in the red zone. And we're going to continue to work at that because it's going to be a big part of our offense moving forward. But we have great respect for the players up at Oregon.
And Justin, Cal officials have asked people not to go up on Tightwad Hill for safety reasons during this pandemic. You know how much people want to see you guys play. What message do you have for the? I mean, Rusty and I counted more than 50 people up there, and of course they want to see the game. But how do you sort of say, hey guys, I understand, but we got to be safe here too. That's a tough one. I know.
Yeah, I empathize with everybody out there that's dealing with what we're all going through. We're fortunate to be able to come in and go to work as coaches and work with our players, and our players are fortunate to have the ability to go compete. I'm not here to give directives to people. I think that's for others, but we appreciate our fans, and we're looking forward to everybody being able to come back in the stadium as soon as possible, whenever it's determined that that's the right thing to do.
Thank you.
Hey, Rusty Simmons from the Chronicle.
Coach, I know you've got a ton in-house to pay attention to, but how closely are you monitoring what's going on in Santa Clara County and any impact that could have for you guys in the future there in Berkeley?
Yeah, we are well aware of what's happening. And I think there's a contingency. I know that there's kind of preparation for what could come down the road. Again, that's administrative. That's kind of what our operations and our athletic administration does. And so we're here to help facilitate, whatever we need to do to give our players a chance to play. And I think it's hour by hour and day by day battle that we're in right now. And, we'll be good neighbors and teammates if we need to be. And I think in terms of what those contingencies are, that'd be better asked to the athletic department.
You kind of already answered this. In March, the other surrounding counties and cities kind of followed Santa Clara County's lead. So you guys are already kind of working on contingencies for if that happens.
Yeah, again, there's a lot of discussions with the athletic director and people within our department to try to be prepared for what could come down the pipe. But I don't think it's probably appropriate for me to talk on that. Probably be a better question for Jim. But we're well aware of what's happening and what that could potentially mean for the schools, in Santa Clara County, and the pro team is going through it with the 49ers. So, we'll be prepared as best we can. But again, I don't know if it's something I should be answering. It's probably better question for Jim.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Hey, Trace Travers from Rivals.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about, you guys ran a toss play against Stanford a handful of times. Was that something you guys schemed specifically for the game, or was that something you added in, through camp and just hadn't used until now?
Yeah, we have some toss plays in, some perimeter plays. I thought the offensive staff, Bill and the rest of the guys did a great job of putting some things in. That's kind of what you do week to week game planning, is trying to find things that match up well against what you're going to see schematically. I thought they did an awesome job there. And then the players went out and were able to execute it. So, you don't run every play in the offense every week. You kind of pull, same on defense. You're pulling from a menu, plays that you think are going to be best suited for who you're playing. I thought they did a great job of that, and it gave us some chances to get some explosive plays.
And when you had the 54-yarder on that one, you could see Mike getting out. I think he blocked 2 guys on the one play. And I know he played through an injury on Friday. How proud are you, and how much of an example does that set for the rest of the team when he's able to do that and play as well as he did?
Yeah, Mike's a special guy. You all got to know him, but he's extremely competitive. He loves playing. He loves the team. He's just a great leader for us. And in football, I think healthy is a relative term. You have out of season healthy, and then you have in season healthy. And he's battled through some things, and like a lot of guys, but he goes out there and gives it his all. And if he's able to play, he's going to play. And I thought he did a heck of a job.
Hey.
Jim McGill with Bear Insider.
Yeah, Coach, I was just curious. A lot of people are curious. Why don't you see special teams do trick plays more often where they overload the line like Stanford did in that extra point block?
Yeah, I think there's a time and a place for it. We've had and still do have, tricks and fakes that are in the arsenal. There's just, the time and place has got to present itself. We felt confident about getting the issues resolved that showed up in the first half. Obviously, that didn't take place. We got to do a better job coaching and teaching, and then applying it to the game so we can go execute an extra point. I think all of us would agree that an extra point should be a high percentage play for the kicking team. But we didn't get it done, and we have to own that as coaches and players. And, as we approach that end of the game there, I did think about potentially going for 2, but going back to how the offense was moving the ball, and really the defense, I thought, had been battling pretty dang well, especially when they had some field to defend. We felt good about our chances in overtime and felt like that was a better chance to win the game than the 2-point play. And obviously I was wrong, and that's my decision. But that's the thought process there.
Also, if there is a kick trajectory issue, how is that possible to address?
Practice and getting the ball up. You can move the launch point, and there's benefits to moving the launch point. There's also issues with moving the launch point. We have to do a better job in all phases of that play, line of scrimmage, kick, but it starts with coaching and teaching, and that's ultimately my responsibility. So we got to do a better job giving the techniques and the tools to our players so they can go out and execute those when it matters, and we didn't get that done.
Hey, Jim, good. Hey, Janie McCauley from Associated Press.
Justin, I was going to ask along those lines too. I mean, when you say, okay, we've got to coach better, these weeks are jam-packed for you guys, and you're moving on to a new opponent. How do you evaluate how you coach better when there's not a lot of time to make huge adjustments, and there are so many different things that you have to work on in a given day and practice? And how do you say, okay, we've got to do this better as coaches, and then translate that onto the field? I mean, how does that process work exactly?
Yeah. Well, speaking specifically to maybe the special teams, it's usually a simple technique, and then we have to ask ourselves, why are we not able to execute that technique? Is it how we're teaching it? Is it the people we're having do that technique? Is it repetitions in practice? Is it drill work? So we go through that with a fine-tooth comb. And this is not just special teams, but offense, defense, anytime there's a reoccurring issue. And so our job is to identify it, remedy it. And if the guys are capable of doing it, if they are, then we got to help them get that done. And if they're not, then we got to find some people that might be more capable in that situation. And that's ultimately our job. So we spend a lot of time discussing that. We meet about it, and then we got to be really efficient with the players' time, whether it's meetings or practice time, to be able to improve that given technique so we can execute that play.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody with a final question? Okay, actually Trace Travers has one. Go ahead, Trace.
Sorry, not letting you get away that easily. But you guys played, I think, 3 defensive linemen every single snap on defense. Is there any talk of getting some other younger guys in the rotation, even though you have had the injury issues that you've had?
We would like to play some more guys. Right now, there weren't guys available. I'll put it that way. There was just a limited number of people at that position for the last game. Very limited.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, anybody else with the final question? Okay, thank you, everybody.